organization. I have spoken in different organizations, different companies, including governmental forums like the Labour Party. Labour Party, I was able to share also my thoughts and stuff when it comes to mental health within women and girls and young people. And I've also been a part of the UN Women um, um, like activities that they do as well. So I have done quite a lot when it comes to mental health. It's been more than 5 years that I've been in this field, that I've been doing this, and so it's a real joy to just be here and teach people my knowledge and all that I know about mental health. So yes, we are just going to go in straight to the main thing. Can I please have the slides up?
Okay, thank you so much. Just a minute. I would like to call on our attendees who are here with us to make use of the chat box in case you have any question or anything you want to add up to today's session. Josephine Napolo, speaking from Ghana, and I'm the welfare coordinator at Anijie Glu1 Foundation. Today, I'll be your moderator. Thank you so much. And we welcome everybody on board, especially those watching us on YouTube and everyone here. Please kindly note down any essential thing that crosses your mind and then ask the relevant questions on mental health. Thank you so much for having me. So I just go straight forward to share the slide.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know if we can zoom it a bit. Okay, perfect. All right, so I want us to really pay attention, interact, because this is a masterclass and we are going to learn a lot. I'm going to be talking and talking and talking, and then I'll also hear from you. So today it's our masterclass for mental health, so from stigma to support, changing the narrative around mental health. Can we please go to the next slide? So we need to understand mental health. So understanding mental health. I know a lot of us may have different understanding of mental health or what mental health can mean for you personally, but I want us to look and really understand it from different sources as well. So mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes their abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, so working productively and fruitfully, and one who's able to make contribution to their community. And then when we look into mental health, this is what we see. We see social well-being, we see emotional well-being, and psychological as well. But there is a difference between mental health, okay, and mental illness, all right? So, which is also known as mental disorder. People go through mental health first before it develops into mental illness. This is what I want you to understand. So it's not something that you'll just, wake up and immediately you begin to develop mental illness. No, there is a start for everything. There is a source. There is a reason why everything develops from one thing to another. There's a reason why things become from good to bad to worse. All right. So I feel like when we are speaking about mental health and mental illness, mental health is like the bad aspect, all right, of whatever situation that you're going through. And then when we see mental illness, it then becomes like the worst part of your situation, because then it affects, everything about you. Now, mental illness, which is also known as mental disorder, it literally refers to specific conditions that impacts people, individuals' mood, behavior, thinking, and the way people feel, and mental illness can be significantly impactful daily, in people's lives, and it's functioning in different ways, and people do get treatment for mental illness professionally. All right. Can I go to the next slide, please? Okay, so on this slide, you can see a slide about me. So you can see different pictures there. You're probably wondering what I am going to be sharing with you today. Yes, I am a mindset coach. Yes, I am a mental health advocate, but why am I here and why I do what I do? So my encounters really came from a place of renewed environment, a place of my own experiences, and from like what I've seen in this life. So my story for mental health is really a long one. Since I was a child, it's a long story. It's a really long story. Hence why I have written a story. It's on Amazon. So my first book is called When Omega Wins, It Is Done. That book is live already on Amazon. It's been 5 years now since I've written that book. And it literally tells you everything you want to know about my journey. So I'll just summarize it here. I have been through domestic abuse, which involves physical abuse, which involves family abuse, domestic violence. I have also gone through financial abuse. Do you know those financial abuse and domestic abuse where you can't do anything about it? Like, you've cried so much already. You've cried a lot and tears have dropped so many times. But then it comes to a time where you've just gotten so used to it. I don't know if it's happened to you before, but you've just gone so used to it that even if they beat you physically, you're not feeling the pain instantly, and there's no tears coming out of your eyes anymore. Why? Because you have taught your mind, your brain, psychologically, to get used to it, because the pain is already too much. I used to actually get beaten by the knife. All right, when I was growing up, from like the age of 6 years old, I was already starting to get abused. I was already starting to get physically beaten up, where they will literally lift up my neck, as in they will lift me up from my neck and bang my head on the wall. And they were doing that without any sympathy, without even thinking about, the pain that I could go through, from that moment and even onwards towards the future. And now that I'm even looking at it, and I'm even like thinking about it now, it just makes me reflect on how painful it was. And if you know me personally and you come really close to me and look at my forehead, you'll see that there's a flat mark there, which shows the wound. All right, the mark, or the scar. Let me just say the scar, that they were literally banging my head on the wall. It's still there, and sometimes I get headaches here and there because of that particular scar that is there, because the beating was really bad. It was really bad. But you would probably ask me, why didn't you seek help? Hello. Oh, I am from a Congolese background. All right, I'm a black Congolese-British, all right, citizen, and I've grown in an African home. You know, where are you going to even respond to a parent, you know, or to a guardian who's got so much power over you? You're just a child in their eyes. Like everything they say to you is a yes. You can't say no. You can't disagree. If you disagree, you will get beaten up. If you disagree, you'll get emotionally abused. You will get financially abused, even to go far, spiritual abuse. So I went through all these kind of things, where I then became homeless, and then I was forced into a pre-marriage relationship, you know, which ended after 3 years, you know, and by the grace of God, I'm here, and I'm married, you know, for more than 5 years now to a really good man, um, and also whilst I was going through the pain that I was going through in the past, you know, growing up as a child, all the way to my teens, now that I'm in my 30s, you know, um, I was silenced. I don't know if you are living in homes where you're not able to express yourselves, even when something is wrong, you're not able to speak up, you're not able to say much. Why? Because you are being silenced. There is act of manipulation, there is act of control, there is act of rejection, neglect. And then when I grew up, it started to develop as trauma, and I started to struggle with complex trauma as well as acute trauma. Complex trauma, it is more deeper than acute trauma. It is something like deeper pains, you know, things that has really been affecting you like on a long term, you know, like scars that would make you think about your problems, that will just bring flashbacks, all of that. I went through it, and then I suffered bullying in school. I dropped out a few times in I think two times, yeah, two times in university because I was stressed, you know, because I was going through a lot. I couldn't focus, and I suffered also loneliness, isolation, and teenage pregnancy. The pictures you are seeing here, the first picture at the top where you see me smiling, my younger self, my younger self, it's I think that was the 5 year old or 6 or 7 year old Naomie Praise Kabasele. That is me right there. You know, you will not tell that I was going through all those pains that I'm telling you that I went through, because I was always a child who was always smiling no matter what I went through. You know, I'm not the one to keep malice in my heart. I'm not the one to keep guilt and stuff like that. So I would always smile, and that has always been me. But like I always say, yeah, and I'm sure that you've heard this word is from many people from many places, that um, not all that glitters is gold. There is a picture next to my younger self where I'm also smiling with the blue hair. There, I literally begged my guardians to literally go out for a party. And that was the only little time that I was able to smile again and be happy. But as you can see, the smile was forced. Can you guys see it? Like, can you guys see that I was just smiling, you know, just for the camera? You know, when somebody's going through mental health issues, mental health problems, they will smile by force, you know, just to fake it, just to hide their pain. And that was me. The picture below, with the blue tiny hat, it's when I was forced into an engagement with a Nigerian man who had no papers. And at the time I was vulnerable, you know, I didn't really understand about those things, you know, and I was going through a lot being a single mother. It was really hard. You can see I was glowing, right? I was wearing all these glittery things on me, but not all that glows. You know, it's beautiful. Like I'm saying already, not all that glitters is gold. I want you to understand that. I want you to know. Nobody would have known that I wasn't happy with this decision. Nobody would have known that I didn't want this relationship, but I was doing it to please my guardians. I was being deceived about my biological parents. Like, I didn't know my mom, my dad. Like, it was hard to process all those things. So imagine you are going through so much thing. I literally went through um, depression, PTSD, which stands for post-traumatic disorder, burnouts, and severe anxiety. I started to take tablets just for me to go to sleep because I was suffering with severe anxiety. It was that bad. I couldn't focus on daily activities. All right. I'm really trying to explain to you a little of my story so that you can just understand where I'm coming from, and as we go on as well. So I'm trying to explain bit by bit with all these pictures why these pictures are there. The the picture that you can see with me on a brown dress with a fringe right below the other one. That picture was when my twin sister was deported. So they deported my twin sister whilst they were abusing us. They deported my twin sister back home in the Congo, and then they left me there. So what they did, the kind of manipulations that they did and control, this is what I call family narcissistic behavior. Family narcissistic behavior. This is not even a romantic narcissistic behavior. This is family narcissistic behavior where they will control you, where they will manipulate you to agreeing to something that you really don't want to do, but just to make them happy, you do it anyways. So what they did here, they made me travel to Belgium, literally a week after deporting my twin sister back home. They knew how broken I was. They knew how it was affecting me. So they now sent me with my pastor for his wedding and stuff like that. They said, "Oh, go and assist your pastor in Belgium and stuff, and so that you can stop thinking about your sister." And although I was young, but my brain was working. I was thinking, I was like, why would they want to do this? But who am I to say no? Who am I to say no? I had no power, no authority, no dominion over them. So I went, but I wasn't happy. As you can see, that picture was taken in Belgium. I wasn't smiling. I was really sad. And one thing that I want to let you know is when people are going through mental health problems, it affects even your skin. All right, it affects your skin color, it affects the way you look, it affects your features, your facial features. um Let me quickly go to the one that I've got the red lipstick next to it. Voila. That one, that picture, my goodness. I was actually in university, and I had an assignment to complete, but my goodness, I could not focus one bit. I sat down there from like 9 a.m. in the morning until 6 a.m. the next day, doing absolutely nothing. I couldn't even finish at least 3 pages. I was just struggling with my thoughts. I didn't know what to do. I was just thinking about my life. Where is my life going? My head was hurting. I was just not okay. That is the picture when I was in UEL, University of East London, studying health and social care. That was really hard for me on that day. So I was really frustrated with life. I was really angry. And then the one where you see my hair is really messy was in an old house, with my guardians and stuff. I couldn't fix my hair. I couldn't like do anything, because the weight of the pains that I was going through, the bullying, the abuse, it was really affecting me. Even looking after myself, um, hygiene and all of that women needs to do, girls needs to do to look after themselves. I couldn't do that because a lot was going on in my life at the time. But when somebody's healed, when somebody is healed mentally, that's the result that you see me. That's the last picture that I'm showing you guys, that I'm wearing the pastoral color. This pastoral outfit, it's a blessing to me. After the healing, I then understood my calling, my purpose and my destiny, the reason why, my assignment on this earth. And then I understood my faith even better. and then I started to serve God. And you can see I'm happy. That smile you're seeing there is an honest smile, okay? It's not what I'm in pain or anything like that. No, it's an honest smile. Yeah. So can we go to just before we go to the next slide, I want to share with you my quotes. So you would hear me a lot say, sharing is healing. Sharing is healing. A lot of people know me with that quote. Whenever they hear sharing is healing, they know that's Naomie Praise. And I also say a lot, don't just exist to simply exist, but exist to impact positively. There are a lot of people just breathing. They're not existing, or doing something with their lives. All they know is I'm alive and that's it. But they don't understand that there is more for them, rather than just, breathing. Breathing is good, but you've got to make that breathing useful. Okay. You've got to make that breathing useful. And then sharing is healing. People say sharing is caring. But when I understood my healing journey, I understood the power of sharing. I said, sharing is not just caring. Like, sharing is actually healing. Because if you don't share, who's going to know? Because when people know how you're feeling or what your problem is, they can help you. And that's where healing starts from. I don't know if I'm making sense. That's where healing starts from. Let me know in the comments if I'm making sense. And then don't ever give up. No matter what I went through, I have never given up. I'm still pushing. I'm still going. When Omega Wins, It Is Done is actually the title of my first book, which I'm trying to make the world understand that it's not about how you started. It's about how you finish. It's about how you finish. All right. And another thing that I always say as well is your mind needs you and you need your mind. So you both need each other. You and your mind, you've got to be best friends. You've got to be best friends. You've got to be teaching each other, how to look after one another. Yeah. So I think I'll be done with this slide. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. So when we are speaking about mental health, we are seeing graphics and statistics of mental health, which are quite recent, where I've really been trying to understand where the system of mental health in the world is going. So as you can see, there's a graphic there. There's a graph there that I need you to see. I don't know if it's clear enough, but there are statistics that shows for mental health, 7.8% of adults in the UK felt lonely always in 2024. And the reason why I am sharing this is because I am based in the UK. I don't know for you that is based in Ghana or in other countries. I don't know exactly, but I'm giving this information as to where I live. And you can find the information as well at Mind's Big Mental Health Report. That was for the year 2024. All right. And then we see 13%, all right, 13.9% of the world's population experience mental disorders in 2021. And that is from WHO, all right? That is from WHO. And you know that WHO actually gives accurate information. I want you to understand that mental health is a huge, huge problem in the world. It is actually one of the first problems that is affecting people from going to work, from being the best version of themselves, from building businesses, from building great relationships, from even staying married, from even conceiving. Mental health is a huge problem. That's why you see a lot of people now are focusing on mental health. A lot of people are now talking about mental health. Before mental health, it wasn't really considered much. Back in the 18s, 100 and stuff like that, mental health wasn't considered much. And even back in like the 1950s, 1960s or 1970s, mental health wasn't really a big deal. But in today's world, in this modern world, mental health is a huge deal. Look at me. I've studied mental health, you know, because people are struggling because of mental health issues, because of their mindset, because of how they live. You know, like I'm always saying that, you know, your mind needs you and you need your mind as well. And then when we look at young people, okay, the youth, you know, this is global actually. 1 in 6 children and young people aged 7 to 16 have mental health disorders. So imagine youths, you know, who attend school, students in university, children in nurseries, you know, they can also face these things, these mental health disorders. And that's why a lot of them, you know, struggle in studying or in doing exams, revisions, GCSEs. Like here in the UK, we do GCSEs in secondary school. You know, in year 6, you know, pupils do SATs, you know, for their last year or end of the year examination for them to step into secondary school. You know, a lot of them fail because of mental health issues. You know, lack of focus at home as well is something that is a huge problem. And let me just say something. Maybe you didn't see it that way, but do you know that everything starts at home? I literally believe that everything starts at home. The bullying starts at home. The maltreatment, the abuse starts at home. Success starts at home. Good behavior, good character starts at home. Knowledge, wisdom starts at home. And now, if you are not starting well at home, you won't start and finish well outside, because outside is literally polluted with so many things. You know, outside it is bringing you a lot of different things that your mind is trying to get used to. And then what happens is, if you're not careful, your mind is going to be polluted because of what the world outside is presenting to you. All right. That's why I'm saying everything starts at home. Just look at yourself, like, look at your life, you know, look at the way you're living. Just look at it. You will understand that everything starts at home. Yeah. I don't know if I'm clear with that one. All right. With those graphs that you can see here, they are showing us clearly that there is a serious consideration of people who are attempting suicide, you know, and only a few people who are attending counseling, you know, for mental health concerns. Although it's been a great number, but it's still an issue. All right, it's still an issue because people are still self-harming. People are still committing suicide, which we need to do. Can we go to the next slide, please? I don't know if I'm able to see the questions. Okay. So when we're speaking about mental health, I need us to understand common mental disorders and early signs. Yes? So when we speak about mental disorders, all right, there are disorders such as bipolar, all right? There's a bipolar disorder, which comes in as signs of dramatic mood swings, like out of the blue. 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're sad, 1 minute you're angry, 1 minute you're so overly excited, like you just want to share the news, you know. And there's also extreme hopelessness, where you will just be feeling so hopeless in life. You know, you may think that you're not doing enough. You know, are you doing good or not? You know, all those thoughts as well. Like, and then you'll sometimes have high energy, increased activity. You know, racing thoughts. Like I've just said, there's different thoughts coming to your mind. You're just thinking, am I doing well or not? You know, and changes in sleep and appetite. All right, that is what bipolar does to you. Now, eating disorders, what it does to you, it involves extreme, eating behavior. So you just want to be eating, even if you're not hungry, even if you are full, you just want to be chopping, chopping your food and just be chopping for food, chopping pizza, chopping okra. I don't know what it is that you like to eat, but you can literally eat that constantly. And so extreme eating behaviors, that's what eating disorders does to you. And your body, you have so much worries about your image, like body image, and then early signs also include dramatic changes in appetite, significant weight loss or gain. Out of the blue, you'll just see that you are gaining weight, you are becoming a bit fatter, or you are losing weight and you're becoming skinnier. You don't understand why when you're already eating well, or maybe you're not really eating much like before, but you're just seeing those drastic changes. And also concerns about your shape. That's what eating disorders does to you. When we go into obsessive compulsive disorder, which is called OCD for short, right? It is a reoccurring intrusive thoughts or images, that causes anxiety, distress, repetitive behaviors, or mental acts, being performed to reduce anxiety. So you have to be careful with OCDs as well. It's like you're doing too much. It's like you're trying to be, too perfect. You have to also be careful with that. When it comes to post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, I'm telling you, I went through it. I know how it feels. Do you know that I was um, referred to a counselor for my issues? And I tell you the truth, I could not sit there and talk. Even when I talked, the little I talked, I had flashbacks. And then those counselors actually failed me because they shared my information without my consent, you know? And when this happens, you'll be having fear. And this is after a very traumatic event like a car accident, and then all these flashbacks will start coming to you. You will start having nightmares at night, emotional numbing, and then you will start experiencing trauma. It can be complex trauma, it can be acute trauma, you know um, and then what you will do is you will start avoiding reminders. When people begin to remind you or bring you memories about different events that happen in your life, you start to like, feel scared, maybe even start sweating, so yeah. And then increased irritability. You'll just be feeling irritated. Yeah, I hope you understand the common mental disorders. Can we go to the next slide, please? Recognizing the signs. Again, when it comes to recognizing the signs, it literally includes emotional, all right, physical, um, behavioral indications, and not to just see the signs, but to actually realize and looking within yourself, am I really going through these signs, or is it just in my thoughts? Because sometimes we tend to blame ourselves with the mental health issues that you think you might be going through. But these are the signs that can help you to know whether it is exactly what you're seeing, exactly what you're thinking, or that is not the case. All right. Because of time, I don't want to go through everything else, but when it comes to behavioral indicators, you will see a lot of changes in your social interactions. You will see a lot of changes in difficulty in forming and maintaining relationships. You don't understand. The minute you make friends with somebody, you become a friend. You'll see 1 week later, or even 1 month later, you are no longer friends anymore. Something comes up that you both start to argue, and then boom, that friendship is over. That friendship is over completely. you wouldn't understand is that you can't keep friends, like you can't maintain relationship, and then you lack social skills, you lack communication skills, and you literally attach yourselves either too much or not at all right, and you fear being around certain individuals. All right, that is behavioral indicators. Now, how to check on your colleagues, like check in with them. How do you do that? All right, if you want to check in on your colleague, your friend, and even yourself. All right, first of all, let me start with yourself. The way to check in within yourself is to sit down. All right, sit down in a very quiet environment and begin to think. Ask yourself honest questions, like honest discovery, what I call honest discovery, and also trying to understand who you truly are, the mirror of your mind, the mirror of your mind. You are sitting down there and you're just reflecting and thinking, am I doing this well? Like, what did I do good and what did I not do good? So all of that is what you need to be asking yourself when it comes to checking on yourself, knowing if you are taking on too much tasks that you're not supposed to be taking, you're doing too much for others, you are people pleasing or not. All of that, you need to understand if you're neglecting yourself or you're not. So all of that, you need to consider it. All right. And then when it comes to a friend or a colleague, one thing that I will tell you to do is to also give it time. Don't rush into it, but carry it as a conversation. When you're talking to your friend or a colleague, try and ask them and be like, yeah, hi, how are you? How is your week been for you? How is this day treating you? You can start by that and also ask them, like, how are you feeling today? And then you will watch them begin to open little by little. Don't go straight in and start bombarding them with things, especially when you know that their mood is not okay. Yeah. Calling them, messaging them, giving them hugs, even if they didn't ask, always initiate a hug as well when you want to find out how your friend or your colleague is doing. And then the role of self-awareness in mental health wellness, is literally to provide the foundation for building a strong and resilient mental state. All right. And it brings an increased resilience. All right. And it enhances self-understanding and personal growth development. Can we go to the next slide, please? When it comes to the youth, so the young people, the most common issues affecting youth and their signs as well is depression. All right. Depression, I'm also speaking from experience because what was really disturbing me in my childhood up to my teens and stuff was depression. I was suffering with depression, but I didn't know that depression even existed. I didn't know that something called mental health existed. I know that there's a lot of us still don't know that something like mental health exists, but it does. Let me inform you today, mental health exists. And the common issues that is affecting the young people is the depression, when it comes to their puberty seasons, this whole change, this whole new journey of puberty stage. It can be also sleep pattern, like very bad sleep pattern, appetite issue. You're either sleeping too much or you're sleeping a little, and you are having like drastic change in your eating, drastic change in your energy. You're having fatigue issues. You are losing a lot of interest in different hobbies that you literally used to do. Yeah. And then what you're going to be feeling is sadness. You'll be feeling hopelessness and difficulty in concentrating. All right. That is what depression does to you. And exactly that I went through. And also with anxiety, you will start feeling excessively worried, living in fear, and you'll start to have panics when something happens or you hear like a news, like a shocking news. You start to panic, like you literally panic at a bad news or a shocking news, feeling restless, feeling on edge, muscle tension, and all of that. When it comes to self-harm, you will see anger, you will experience withdrawing from friends and family, and you'll develop like low self-esteem. For example, thinking they are not good enough. All right, so you thinking that you're not good enough, you know, even when people are telling you, oh my gosh, you deserve it, oh my gosh, you're so good, you are so beautiful, you're doing absolutely amazing, you know, you are pushing it, that's really good. Even if you're hearing people tell you these wonderful words, you, like, within yourself, you don't even think that you're any good. All right, and that's why people start to self-harm, and they start cutting themselves, you know, and their bodies, and they begin to bleed and all of that. Burnout, you know, the signs are headaches, stomach pains, um, laziness, tiredness, mood swings, and even hopelessness. So it's almost the same as general mental disorders as well. All right. And the way it shows up in African and social and cultural context, it's literally when parents, you know, begin to ignore your explanation to them, as in how you feel, you know, it can appear through your, oh, I think I lost it. Okay. So when it comes to like the African home, you know, and social life, all those things can appear through insults, you know, if you're not happy at home, you're trying to explain things to your parents at home, and then things are not going okay, they're not listening to you, and then it starts to produce like negative words to you, like your parents produce negative words to you when you start to voice out on how you're feeling. All right, because a lot of African people, they don't understand these things. They think when somebody's going through mental health issues, the person is running mad, the person's not okay. Yeah, so that's what I wanted you to understand concerning that. I don't know what's happened, but do we have time for the next slide, please? Okay.
Hello,
So
pardon me, so sorry. My network got disconnected. I'm back
okay,
now.
okay, there's no problem. I'm still trying to see back some of the slides that I couldn't actually include here, which I am trying to see if I've missed anything. Okay, so the next thing I want us to understand is what's working. All right, what's working in the mental health system, what's working in the world when it comes to mental health. Are there any improvements? Are there any progress? Are there any changes in a positive way? Let me just tell you, well, yes, there is. All right, yes, there is changes that are happening. You know, when you look at the global efforts to improve mental health, you will see that there is something called Mental Health Action Plan, which started from 2013 and is continuing until now. Although that we haven't arrived to 2030 yet, but that is the goal. That is the goal for us to continue ahead and literally go on to 2030 to see if these actions have actually worked, and so that we can actually bring the numbers in, you know, the results in, to see in both different ways, whether it be in the government, whether it be in charity organizations, whether it be in community works and family, schools, you know, universities, all of those, you know, industries, all of those institutions. So you will get to know the Mental Health Action Plan from 2013 to 2030 on the World Health Organization website. You can read more about that there so that you can understand where things are going. Yeah. And also, the plan is literally to focus on promoting mental health and well-being globally, and to prevent mental disorders from happening to people, literally to just reduce, mental disorders from families, young people, elderlies, as well. And then it's there to provide care and also enhance recovery. All right. And there is also another initiative called WHO Special Initiative for Mental Health that is working to scale up mental health and psychological support in countries, and introducing local level services. All right. So wherever you are in your countries, do try and find out about this. Ask questions. Maybe if you are a student, try and ask your university as well about this. If there's anything available at your university, at your school, in your community as well. I know that in Africa, mental health is not really spoken, it's not really considered that much. But I am seeing that a lot of leaders, whether it be church leaders, whether it be the governmental leaders, they are now beginning to introduce mental health studies and systems within our communities in Africa. Yeah, so can we go to the next slide, please? Are we able to go to the next slide? Thank you. Okay, so the fun bit, all right, the fun bit. I would like all of you to engage with me on this. On your screen, you are seeing a scenario. This scenario is taken from my upcoming book. All right, my upcoming book is called MP Theory. I want you to read this scenario, and really have a think, reflect on what should be done in this situation. All right, you and me, let's read it, and just let me know in the comments. I don't know if I'll be able to see the comments, but just let me know in the comments your suggestions or what you think that should be done. All right, I will just read it out to you, and you just follow through. All right, and we'll just have at least 1 minute, 2 minutes on this, depending on you. But this is what the scenario says. Emily is a 30 years old lady living in an overcrowded hostel. Her cousin paid her a visit after a few weeks of not seeing her. Emily is addicted to alcohol and smokes every day. She had an argument with a friend and came back home after a long night. Then her cousin noticed that she's showing signs of anxiety for 3 days. Emily's cousin tells her that she is suffering from anxiety. She also heard from Emily's friend that they had an argument. Emily's cousin tells her that the signs of anxiety is clear and she needs to see the doctors for medical examinations or be referred to relevant mental health professionals. Now, Emily challenged her. So Emily challenged her cousin by refusing to listen to her cousin's feedback. She accused her cousin of calling her a mad person for mentioning anxiety and going to the doctors. Before this situation came up, Emily always had this assumption that if you have anxiety, you will be taken and locked up at the mental health hospital. So she bluntly refused her cousin's thoughts about her. Oh my goodness. I find this a little funny, but also very serious. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What do you think should be done here? I want to see your thoughts in the comments. What do you think should be done? Do you think Emily's right for behaving the way she did, for defending herself when it comes to her mental health? Do you think her cousin is right? Do you think she needs professional help? What do you think? Okay, I am seeing from the Q&A section, okay, there is an anonymous attendee. All right, I'm just going to read what you're saying here. The cousin should take Emily's anxiety seriously and encourage her to seek professional help. Emily's resistance to medical care appears to stem from fear and stigma about mental health treatment rather than a lack of need for care. I love your answer. I really do love your answer. Let's hear from others as well. Let me know what you think as well. Another anonymous attendee says the cousin should continue offering emotional support while gently challenging Emily's assumptions about mental health care. Many people fear being locked up when seeking help for anxiety, but this is rarely how treatment works. Yeah, I totally agree with you. A lot of people are scared of taking mental health care. A lot of people. Um, Let me hear from another person. There's quite a lot of us here, about 14 of us. Okay. Another anonymous attendee says, suggest Emily begin with her primary care doctor rather than a mental health specialist, as this might feel less intimidating. I love that. I love this. I love it too. Yes. Yes, because I feel like when people hear the name doctor, they get scared. They really get scared. They feel like, oh my gosh, I've got a disease. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to me? Am I dying? All of that. Or am I getting a surgery? People get scared when they hear, seeing their primary care doctor. Um, um, but I do actually think as well, Emily should consider that as well before going to a mental health specialist, because I feel like normally, most of the time actually, it's the GPs, like the doctors who will refer you or signpost you to the relevant mental health professionals if needed. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other suggestions? Okay. Have an honest conversation about Emily's fear of hospitalization and help her understand that seeking help early actually reduces the likelihood of needing intensive treatment later. I love your answer. Conversation is so important. Like having that communication is so crucial. Literally, having that communication is so crucial for you to understand the person's need and help them in any way that you can. And then um, Ruhia, sorry if I say your name wrong, Ruhia Sunguru Aguri says the cousin should keep showing up for her. And I think Emily will eventually open up when she doesn't feel like she's being attacked. Exactly. That's right. That's right. So this is why I always say, don't ever give up. You see why I always say don't ever give up? Like when you see somebody that is going through something that is bad, don't give up on them easily. Don't give up on them. Just continue to observe them, continue to show up for them, even if they're showing you bad behavior, bad character, just continue to be patient. Be patient, because you never know, they can go and harm themselves or do something or hurt themselves the minute you decide to leave them and not even care about their problem anymore. And then Miss Modlin says the cousin could offer to go with Emily to an initial appointment for moral support, which might reduce her anxiety about seeking help. I love that. Thank you so much, Miss Modlin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, moral support is very crucial, and seeking help. Like I always say, sharing is healing. If you don't speak, who's gonna know? If you don't talk, who's gonna know? Albert Anyanfo says, educate her on mental health and gently explain that anxiety is a common and treatable condition. Yes, thank you so much, Albert, for that. Education is really important. Understanding the concept, the source and the reason, and the perspective of mental health is really good for them to understand that actually mental health is not as bad as I thought. You know, it is for me to know the state of my mind and if I need help or not. You know, I think that's the kind of mentality people need to get to. Yeah. And then Albert also said again, correct the misconception that people with anxiety will be locked up and share positive stories of people who got help and improved. Exactly. Yes, sir. You know what I liked about what you just said now, Albert, is positive stories. Like, enough of hearing all these negative stories around you, because sometimes it will just shift you from believing that there are great stories out there as well when it comes to mental health. So associate yourself or try and find out good stories about mental health, positive stories, share with the person, make them understand, like, yeah, you know, although this person also went through this mental health, you know, they overcame, like myself here, although I suffered depression and anxiety, yes, it was bad, it was embarrassing, it was hurtful, but look where I am today. Today I'm a church minister, today I'm a mindset coach, today I'm an author, today I do a lot, a gospel artist, singer, like I do a lot. Why? Because I've changed my mentality. All right. And changing your environment as well is so important for you to know that mental health can also be in a good light. Yeah. And last one, Susanna Tete says, Emily's cousin is so right, but the way we express our good intentions matters. Yes. She should offer emotional support while gently helping Emily see the importance of seeking professional help, and that needing mental health support doesn't mean she's mad. Exactly. Thank you so much, guys, for your input and all that you have suggested as well. So anyone who's going through similar things like Emily here, please take on board. This is a way for you to seek solution. All right, just take it on board. You don't have to explain to anyone here, just take it on board. All right. So what you've just done now is you've given solution when it comes to acceptance and challenge. All right. I wanted to ask you as well, when it comes to challenge and acceptance, what is harder? What is harder to do, challenge or acceptance? Just type in the comments which one you find harder to do. Is it challenge or acceptance? And then we can go.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Naomi. I just want to alert the audience that the chat is disabled, so they should use the questions and answer area, Q&A,
Okay.
to respond to all questions or make their inputs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me know what is harder for you to do or what you think is harder, challenge or acceptance. There's a reason why I'm asking you this, and we're going to go in it very soon. Challenge or acceptance, challenge or acceptance, challenge or acceptance. Acceptance. Okay. Ruha says acceptance. All right. Who else says acceptance and who else disagrees? Challenge or acceptance? Which one is harder? When it comes to mental health, which one is harder? Acceptance or challenge? Jennifer Basina says, I think acceptance. Okay. All right. we are going somewhere. We are going somewhere. I haven't seen anyone say challenge yet. Susanna Tete says acceptance. Okay, Susanna, I see you. All right. Okay. Sophia says acceptance. Okay, I see. Oh my goodness. So where is the so nobody thinks challenge is out. So nobody here. So everybody is, acceptance, acceptance. Quickly, guys, so that we can go on to the next stage. Okay, so all I'm seeing at the moment from everyone here that has shared is acceptance. Challenge. Miss Mullins said challenge. How did I know that somebody, that one person, one person will come and say challenge? Mm. So challenge, only one person thinks challenge, but we're going to find out why and how. Why do you think, you know, acceptance or challenge is more harder? Yes, my darling. So yeah, we are going to the next slide, please. We'll come back to our acceptance. Okay, there we go. From what you're seeing here, you are seeing on the slide the vision for inclusive and youth-led diplomacy. All right. What is the mental health system doing, you know, when it comes to youth-led diplomacy? So what you're seeing here is basically a plan as well. It's what they are doing, and what they are really looking to probably change, probably a reform and all of that. I'm coming, baby. Yeah. So we see there's rights-based approach for global mental health diplomacy. So what they're doing is they're saying that we should prioritize human rights based approach, all right, when it comes to people's rights, what people are allowed to say, what people are allowed to do, you know, having to listen to the people, and ensuring that mental health is integrated into the international agenda through cooperation and advocacy. All right. So just like what we're doing here, we are learning, you know, mental health system in a global scale, right? And this is good. This is good because then we're making it international. It's not just left for where I am here. It's not only for where you are listening to me from, but it is on a global scale. And then we see partnerships and collaborations. This is so important for the youth-led diplomacy. You know, every decisions, like all these policies and decision makings when it comes to mental health, you know, with leaders and stuff, it's important to include young people, youth people who are able to understand certain things as well, because those young people who are able to understand, you know, where the mental health system is going globally, they could also go out there and advocate and explain to those young people who do not understand what's going on when it comes to the mental health system. So that's why, all right, that's why partnerships and collaborations is important for the youth-led diplomacy. So they have to work together, all right, working together with governmental leaders, working together with teachers, working together with maybe even the police, the air forces, working together with business people, you know, charities, you name it, right? Because mental health is a global thing, all right? It's a global thing. Even church leaders, yeah? And then it's important also to address stigma and discrimination. A lot of people are going through stigma and discrimination, especially in the BAME community. So the African, the Caribbean, Asian groups, there is a lot of stigma and discrimination when it comes to mental health. So efforts should be made to reduce stigma and discrimination around mental health and create a more inclusive and supportive environment for young people to seek help and support, you know, in a very calm manner, you know, and this would involve education and awareness campaigns in schools and communities, like what we're doing here. You know, it is almost like a campaign, because we are in the month of May, and the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we are already talking about it. We are already educating you about mental health. All right. And then data and research information. I repeat again, again and again. My African accent is hitting here. You know, data, all right, data and research is important. Go and find out, collect information, you know, watch the news, you know, learn from those who have done their masters, you know, doctors, professors, you know, Even the hospitals like the NHS, go and find your data and research. So investing in research and data collection to better understand the mental health needs of young people and inform the development of effective interventions is crucial. Please, please let us invest in data collection and make sure it's those legal ones, or legal ones. Please go to legal websites, legal people, legal leaders for you to get the information that you need. All right. And this may include exploring the impact of technology based solutions and other innovative approaches. Yeah. And all these things also need long term funding. Money is the problem when it comes to mental health system, not just in the UK, also globally. Yesterday, I gave a talk. I was invited to speak in the North Oxfordshire Labour meeting, and these are the things that I discussed. You know, funding is a problem when it comes to mental health system. We need the funding in order to do a lot of activities to bring the change that the world is asking for. We need the money, we need the funding. Without the funding, we can't do so much, but we can just do so little. You know, we can only do so little when we don't have the funding. But when we have the funding, we can do so much more. Yes, so much more. Can we go? Yes, my love. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, I think somebody's asking a question just before we go quickly. How can we make therapy more culturally relevant and affordable? Okay, give me a second. Okay, Albert is asking me, how can we make therapy more culturally relevant and affordable? Okay, so here's my idea, all right? To make therapy more culturally relevant is to not just have um, one race in the company or in the institution. All right, it's important to have maybe professionals, you know, who are working in that center maybe. So for example, if you are from Ghana and there are different, you know, cultural beliefs when it comes to Ghanaians and stuff, you know, I would suggest for you to feel comfortable and actually explain to the therapist or to the counselor that you are asking to see, right? It's important for you to have somebody who's also probably from your country that understands your culture, that also understands your language, because I feel like language barrier can be a problem. I also feel like cultural beliefs can also be a problem. So how to make it more culturally relevant and affordable is to understand how each community operates, what they believe in, and things that they can spend on and things that they cannot spend on, or how much they can spend on, like a service, like a counseling service or a therapy service, all of that. Because I know a lot of African people, you know, or even like other Asian people, they do complain when it comes to money. They say that counseling is expensive. They say therapy is expensive. So just being able to talk through these things and also allowing citizens to communicate or work with people who are probably from their culture, because there's better understanding when that happens. I don't know if I answered your question. How do I support a friend who doesn't want help? Okay, the way you support a friend who doesn't want to help, first of all, give them time. I said this before. Give them time and be patient with them. You know, you can try to introduce like a date. All right, ask them, let's go out and eat. You know, let's go out and eat and stuff, and then from there you could start initiating, conversation, but slowly and surely. And what you could do, if you think, a date or outing won't be ideal, you can try to communicate with somebody that they trust. Yeah, try to communicate or speak to somebody that they trust, somebody that they know that, yeah, if I speak to this person about her, like my worries or concerns about her or about him, they'll be able to understand and probably talk to them about it. And then afterwards, if you receive a good response from the person that they trust, then you can go ahead and start, give them little support, you know, asking them a few questions. But if they do not want to answer you, please do not force it. Let them be. Just observe them. Observe them. Give them hugs, if they want the hug. Play some music for them if that's what they want. But then with you observing them, what you're doing is you're collecting information, trying to see their facial expression, because their facial expression will tell you what they want or what they need. Um, the use of their words, all right, the use of their words can also tell you how to help them. But if you see that you've tried all of that, it's still not working, please give them time. Don't force it. Don't argue with them. Don't blame them. Don't judge them. Just give them space. Yeah, I think that's what you should do. I don't know if anyone else. Okay, there's no other questions. Can we go to the solutions to navigate your mental health too? All right. You've heard and you've seen me speak about my upcoming book. Normally, I would not share anything or any of the projects that I'm doing, just like that in the public. But because, this is a masterclass and I want you guys to gain something, I want to provide solutions, not just bring the problem, not just introduce the problem, but I want to provide you with solutions. All right. It may not be huge or big solutions, but at least something that you can think about that will help you, and put that step forward into your journey of healing, into your journey of good results, positive impact. This is why I'm here. So, solutions to navigate your mental health. The first thing that I think that we should do to navigate our mental health is, first of all, believing in yourself. All right, believing in yourself and understanding that, you know what, this is life. I'm a human being. Not to be too hard on yourself. Like, don't be too hard on yourself. Understand that you are a human being. You've got thoughts, you've got flaws, you can make mistakes, but you need to believe in yourself and stop blaming yourself as well. And when it comes to one of these solutions, I would suggest you can use Naomie Praise theory, call of action. All right, you are able to use it. So even when the book is out, feel free to get it. All right, and you'll see everything else that I've shared there, all the other solutions. This is just part of the solution that I'm sharing with you. So you can use Naomie Praise theory, call of action in churches. You could use it in schools. You could use it anywhere, even for yourself. And there is an idea that I created. It's called OMHC. OMHC, which stands for Operation Mental Health Check. So you can use that when you are struggling, with mental health and you're trying to navigate it, even for yourself. Do a mental health check. Do Operation Mental Health Check. When you're not able to go to the doctors and you know nothing about science or about all of those kind of things, try and think about it this way. I will explain that further inside the book as well. But another thing that you should do to navigate your mental health, just know that you are not alone. You don't have to do it by yourself. Contacting your GP and speaking to them so that you can either see whether you need a referral or you need to do like a self-referring to services like NHS, talking therapies. And for those who are not in the UK. I don't know the system there, but try and reach out to the hospital, try and reach out to other professionals, relevant ones, for you to get the help. Another solution is getting in touch with charitable organizations. Speak to them, you know, try to volunteer with them, like literally do something with yourself. All right. Use trainings and policies provided by religious leaders, teachers, and other professionals to implement it in your own life. All right. The information is out there. You just got to know how to use it. Yeah. You can also read books. Reading books will help your mind develop. Like, you will experience personal development, you will experience emotional development, you will experience a mental development, you know, even spiritual development, you will literally experience it. Yeah. Do a lot of reading and research, like I said before, and also seek for workplace support where you're working, school, college support, you know, and go and require help from crisis services. All right. Can we go to the next slide, please? I don't know if that's the one that we need to go into. Okay, just before we go to stigma and culture of silence, can I just ask the moderator to please put up the image of MP theory, person ability approach diagram? That's the second solution I want us to look into quickly. And that is going to be the reason why I asked you, what is harder to do, acceptance or challenge? We're going to find out right here. We're just going to wait. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Perfect. I don't know if we can enlarge it. Can you all see it clearly? Yeah. Can we enlarge it? Okay. Perfect. My concern is just for you to see it clearly. Yeah. All right. So with you on the screen there, what you can see on the screen is a diagram. All right. Okay. Just get yourself familiar with it. Get yourself familiar with it. What you can see there is another solution to navigate mental health. Okay. It's by myself, Naomie Praise. Again, this diagram, you can only find it from Naomie Praise theory book. Is still coming up. All right. You can only find it through my book. It's called MP theory, person ability approach diagram. So this is an approach that I gathered. All right. An idea that I gathered, which I decided to literally think and see how can people, you know, manage their mental health. How can young people, how can women and girls manage their mental health? So look at this diagram. The reason why I asked you which one is harder to do was because I wanted you to also see this challenge or acceptance. Only one person said that challenge was harder. I'm still laughing. Challenge is harder. I want to know, looking at this diagram, now I want to know, why did you say challenge is harder? Or if you said acceptance is harder, why did you say acceptance is harder? Can I just hear from at least 2 or 3 people? Just because of time. Why did you say that acceptance was harder to do. And why did you say challenge was harder to do? Because in this diagram, what I want you to see is the first part of those round big heads. Let me call it big heads. So on figure 1, it shows us all about challenge. All right, it shows us killing conflict. It shows us the willingness to do. It shows us the mirror of your mind, and it shows us honest discovery. And I'm just going to focus on at least one or two from each of the figures. All right. So the perspective of challenge and acceptance under the MP theory personal ability approach. When you look at figure 2, acceptance, you see there's yes to feedback, there's self-discovery, there's striving, and there's facing the hard. Facing the hard. This information is so inclusive and it's very exclusive, because it's found only in my book. You will not find this anywhere else. Or if you see this, probably it's because I was either teaching or doing workshops, to do with mental health. Okay. So which one you think out of these two figures, when you see what's written in figure 1 and figure 2, which one can you relate to when it comes to your mental health? Which one can you relate to? Is it figure 1 where it says acceptance, yes to feedback, self-discovery, striving, or facing the hard? Which one can you relate to? I literally want to hear from you guys. We're doing it together. Which one can you relate to? When you see this diagram, this personability diagram, because these are the things that is possible for you to do. That's why I've called it person ability approach. It's something that all of us can do. We are able to do it. It's not impossible. It's possible to do. Which one you can relate? Is it yes to feedback, self-discovery, facing the hard, or striving? And then when we go to the other figure 1, challenge, is it killing conflict? Is it the willingness to do? Is it honest discovery? Or is it the mirror of your mind? Which one you can relate? Guys, can you see it? Which one can you relate to? When you think about your mental health, which one can you relate to? I'm waiting to hear from you guys. I'm waiting. I know this is making you guys think, right? It's making us think, because we've got to take our mental state very seriously. You've got to make the right decisions when it comes to your mind. I relate to striving. Okay, you relate to striving. Why do you relate to striving? What makes you relate to striving? Because I do agree with you, absolutely. Anyone else? Which one do you relate to? Is it killing conflict? Is it the willingness to do? Is it yes to feedback or self-discovery, honest discovery, the mirror of your mind? Because me personally, I can relate to this when I'm looking at my mental health life or journey. I would say I would relate to yes to feedback and killing conflict, because I've literally learned to forgive. The reason why I've said this is simply because I had a hard time forgiving, my abusers, forgiving those who did me wrong in the past. I had a hard time. Literally, I had a hard time. So what I needed to do for me to receive my total healing, within and outward, was first of all to kill the conflict. Even if it's there, even if they have conflict against me, that's fine, that's them. But me personally, I didn't want to have conflict with them anymore. Like, I didn't want to have the trouble. I didn't want to have the malice, the guilt, the pain and all of that. I didn't want it anymore. So I decided to kill conflict, even when they don't think like me, because we all have different thoughts. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? What can you relate to? So, like I said here, for me personally, I can relate to killing conflict and yes to feedback. I had to humble myself and accept where I was wrong, literally, and learn different lessons. Guys, I've only heard from Rahia. I've only heard from Rahia. Rahia said striving. What do you say? Before we get to the other section, what do you say? Okay, so if you can't think of it anything right now, okay. I feel like I'm always working to make something better from my career, personal projects, spiritual life, creativity, and healing. Okay, okay. Mm. So you literally just juggling everything, that balance, that balance. Okay, okay, that's really good. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Rahia, for that. Okay. All right then. So even if you don't have much to say now, all right, I just want you to um, look into this, and just think about your own journey. Like, literally, just think about it. No pressure. Just think about it. Yeah. All right. Can we go to the next? Can we go to the next slide? Because this diagram was to help us understand, where we fit and how we are making progress, or what we need to do to make progress when it comes to our minds, when it comes to our daily lifestyles, to protect our mental health, to ensure that you have a positive mental health state. Can we go to the next slide, please? I don't know if the moderator can hear me.
Yes, I've moved the slide.
Okay, because I still cannot see. I still can't see.
Please, can you see it now? Hello, Miss Naomie. Please, can someone hear me? I think we've lost Miss Naomie. Hello, Miss Naomie, can you hear us?
Okay, perfect. Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Okay.
welcome
Yeah.
back. We lost you for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. So on the screen, you are seeing healing and support systems. Healing and support systems. When it comes to mental health, looking after your mental health on a daily basis, because looking after your mental health, it can be daunting, it can be hard, and I want you to know that you are not doing it alone, okay? So there's different ways for you to seek healing and to also receive the support you need. One of the ways that you can receive support is through community, all right? Having like your own tribe, finding a good community that will enable you to speak up, that will welcome you, you know, because community is important, community is powerful, you know, it brings the best in you if you are involved in the right community, the right tribe, yeah. Peer, having somebody that is going to hold your hands, you know, personally, that you can discuss with them personally anytime, like one-on-one peer support. And also considering therapy, all right? Not every therapist is bad, all right? There are so many therapists who are respectful, who are loving, who practice confidentiality, you know. Try and find a therapy, all right, so that you are able to actually access everything you need. A therapist in our lives is really, really good, okay? I would recommend it, especially if you are a person of faith and stuff like that. Maybe you are a Christian, you are a Muslim. I don't know what faith you're from and stuff, but please do consider therapy. Look for Christian therapy or people who can understand your faith as well, because I think the barrier and the problem is also understanding people's faiths, faith beliefs, and cultural beliefs, and all of that, even traditionals, you know, is so important. You know, find counselors. There are counselors there to help you. Whether you are in Africa, whether you are in the diaspora, it's important you find people that are able to work with you. All right, counselors, psychiatrists, GPs, which are doctors. Go and find them. And also, family and friends. Family and friends. I know a lot of us, we've had a hard time communicating with your family. Some of you don't even talk to your family members. Some of you don't have good terms, or you don't trust your family members. But I'm sure there's at least one person in your family that you can go and talk to. But if you truly tell me, look, Miss Naomie, there is not even one person that I can talk to in my family about my mental state, they will just begin to cast, they'll just begin to judge me, and I don't want that. Go to your friends, you know, find a friend that you can discuss and ask them questions, okay? Support groups are out there as well, like different centers, therapists, and also get used to using and make use of community resources that are in your town. Please make use of it. Even the free ones, even the ones that they are making you pay maybe £1 or $10 or 50 Ghana CDs, or I don't know, you know, all of that. Sometimes you've got to spend if you want a very quality mindset, if you want a really good mindset, all right? And then you could also get help in practical assistance, because all these things provide resilience. It literally helps you build it. It will bring you empowerment, you know. It will help you heal from traumas that you couldn't heal from. It will assist you to heal from chronic illnesses. You will not even understand, since I've met this person in my life, since I have gotten in touch with this person, like I'm really doing well, you know. I am doing extremely well. That is how it's supposed to be. Explore and look after yourself when it comes to self-care practicing, journaling, mindfulness, healthy boundaries, and also resting. Guys, resting is important. I cannot stress enough. Learn to rest. Learn to rest. All right. Can we go to the next slide, please? Tools and strategies to build emotional and self-awareness for promoting peace and collaboration. All right, so what you need to do, learn to grab opportunities. I've written a book called Power, Authority, and Dominion. A lifetime opportunity for all. Grab opportunities. When it comes to you, you know, although you can think before you grab the opportunity, but if you know that this opportunity of a lifetime is good for you, grab it and begin to discuss your mental health during family gatherings, housing parties and stuff like that, even hosting your own events. If you have a business, you have an idea, do not sit on it, because the point of mental health, having a good mental health, is literally keeping yourself active, doing what you love, like your hobbies and stuff, building friendships, and go on like dates, not just romantic dates with your boyfriend and girlfriend. Go on different dates and stuff. Go on coffee and tea breaks. Different strategies that you can do is to help others as well. Help others. If other people are not helping you, you go and offer the help to others. Go and communicate with your teacher as a student. So have that teacher and student relationship conversation that can start with, hi, how are you feeling this week? If you start by that conversation, but that phrase, you will see that the person will be interested to start, talking to you. That is another strategy that you can use as well when it comes to promoting peace and collaboration. Go on holiday getaways, staycations, my goodness, English. Staycations, guys. Don't forget, I am Congolese. Staycations, and also finding a network, like I said, finding a network, a tribe, that understands you, that understands your visions, your beliefs, and all of that, your mission, your assignment, your goals, your aims. Find that tribe. Begin to exercise. Begin to practice affirmations, saying positive words to yourself, saying it out loud, and meaning it with boldness and confidence. Networking. Listen, there is power in networking. You need to master the art of networking. It's important. You don't know who you're going to meet. That could be your destiny helper. Asking questions and being assertive, learning to know when to say yes and when to say no. All right. Being assertive is about being confident of your decisions. If you don't want something and you know that it's not going to benefit your mental health, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say okay, yeah. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right. So my last message, a message of hope. All right. I want to give you guys a message of hope. I want you to know this thing. For as long as you are living, all right, as long as you are living, there will be troubles. You will still go through things. Somebody will try and come and annoy you. Somebody will come and bring you down. Somebody will say, oh, you're not good enough. But here's the thing, though. Here is the thing I want you to know, that your voice is expensive, all right? I hear people say, yes, your voice is powerful. Indeed, it is. But let me tell you something. Your voice is so expensive. If you didn't know it from today. Just imagine the time you open your mouth to speak. A lot of people are scared when you open your mouth to speak, because they know the truth that you're going to be speaking. They know that you're going to be adding value. All right. So understand that your voice is expensive. Use it wisely. And also remember that sharing is healing. I cannot stress enough. Sharing is healing. Can you just say with me, wherever you are listening to me, sharing is healing. Okay? Sharing can be caring, yes, but not always. But all I know from experience that sharing is healing. From the minute you open your mouth to share something, to share your story, to share your idea, you don't know that you're healing yourself, not only you, but you're healing other people in some way. It may not be in a big way or with a huge impact. Even the small impact can be a part of their healing. And also remember that impact starts with you. You've got this. It starts with you. It's got to start with you first, and then it continues beyond. If you are impacted positively, then others will also be impacted positively. Even if it's not going to be the whole world, but at least one or two people will be impacted by your positive actions. All right. And remember that you are not alone. All right. There are other people going through the same mental disorder that you probably have. You know, maybe it's depression, anxiety, maybe it's OCD, maybe it's eating disorders. Listen, you are not alone. All right. There's a lot of people who are going through it. There's a song that says, "We're all in this together. Once we know that we are." I don't know the rest, but I want you to understand that. All right. We're all in this together. We can find healing together. We can find solution together. Okay. And I want you to know that no one is you. You are unique. You are different. And that is your power. No one is you. And that is your power. End of. There is no negotiation about it. All right. I need you to know that there is no negotiation about being you. All right. Being you in a positive way, because that's the only way you're going to impact positively. And that's the only way that you are going to be transforming your life in a really good manner. And you're going to build that winning mindset. When you begin to understand that no one is you, that is your power, you are already building a winning mindset and you are transforming your life in a positive way. All right. And you are not who the world says you are. You are not who the world says you are. Okay. I need you to understand that. Many a times people will call you stupid. People will say, "Oh, you're too loud, you're too proudful, you're so opinionated. I don't like you. I don't like the way you think. I don't like the way you look. You're big, you're fat, you're dumb. Look at you. You cannot amount to anything." Listen, people can say whatever they want to say, but you've got to believe in what God says that you are. You've got to believe in the positive words that comes to your mind when you think about yourself. And remember, if your faith says yes to God, nobody can say no to you. Listen, God can never say no to you, and no one else can say no to you, because people will be obliged to see the power of your faith, and then they'll also follow. All right? People like to see results, you see. People don't really care how bad you're feeling or how bad your mental health is. They just want to see results. All right. So work on your mindset, work on changing your mentality, and then you will see the results. And then after, you can just show it to the world. Yeah. And remember to continue the conversation of mental health, as mental health ambassadors. Continue it in schools, continue it in churches, at home, community centers, youth clubs, social media, the government meetings, and even in the workplace and universities. Make sure you continue the conversation. Don't stop. All right? Don't stop. Don't stop. That is my word for you. I don't know if I have forgotten anything. I don't know if I have forgotten anything. When it comes to spirituality, I need you to understand one thing. There are people who have different faiths. Okay, you don't have to do what other faiths are doing. But if you are a Christian, specifically speaking for Christian people, if you are a Christian, there are different practices that you can do. Prayer is good. All right, make sure you're praying correctly. You are doing mindfulness correctly. It could literally be 1 hour walking and praying, reading your Bible, going to church, evangelizing, journaling about your spiritual journey when it comes to mental health. So your faith and mental health. I know that other people do yogas and stuff like that. I know that other people do other practices when it comes to spirituality. I know that some families, you know, they still believe in what we call FGM, all right? Um, Female genital mutilation. They still do that. Just know that those practices are wrong. And what they call, you know, deliverance of witchcraft. Sometimes many of these things that we do, you know, there are good ways to do it, you know, but other leaders, especially church leaders, are doing it wrongly. They are blaming young people. They're calling them names, witches, and making them being hated by their community, by their parents. That's not good. We need to be careful who we are sharing our ideas with and how we are conducting and living as well. All right. And then one last thing, I want you to do this exercise with me before we finish. I want to ask you one last question, and please tell me the truth. When you hear sharing is healing, what comes to your mind? This is the last thing we're going to do for today. In this masterclass, this is the last thing we're going to do. Feel free to take a screenshot of my contact information. If you want to get in contact with me, please do that. It's fine. But I want us to do this one last activity. When you hear sharing is healing, what comes to your mind? You can just type in the comments, or are attendees allowed to open the mics and speak? Is it possible to do that right now? Give me at least one word that comes to your mind when you hear sharing is healing. And then I'm going to let us go. I know that I've given us so much information today. Please make use of it. Make use of it. I don't know if I can see the... Okay. Rahia says, when she hears sharing is healing, the words that come out of her is feeling safe. Okay, that's really good. Feeling safe. Feeling safe. Anyone else? What comes to your mind when you hear sharing is healing? If you don't share, who's going to know? Who's going to know if you don't share? You're feeling safe, okay? Because when somebody feels safe, they can share. But if the person doesn't feel safe, they're not able to share. Anyone else? Come on, guys. We are at the end. We're literally at the end. What do you hear? What do you hear? Susanna says, when she hears sharing is healing, for her, it's more of sharing about our struggles. It becomes less burdensome. Okay, that's really good. And you're right. Okay, anyone else? So the more we share about our struggles, it becomes less burdensome. That's correct. Knowing that you don't have to do it alone, you know. Can I hear from 2 people, and then we close for our masterclass? Guys, we are finished. Jennifer Bessina says, some burdens are lifted when you share. Exactly. Exactly. For you, it's basically when you hear sharing is healing, some burdens are lifted when you share. So this is what comes up to your mind. Okay. All right. I hear you. It's so true. So true. One more person. A problem shared is half solved. Mary Awusu. Exactly. Exactly. Like I say, if you don't share, who's going to know? All right. If you don't share, who's going to know? You know, and thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on this masterclass. I hope you took some notes. I hope you learned. And I hope you're going to continue the conversation in your day-to-day lives, with your friends and families, with your colleagues, with your leaders. Thank you so much for your presence. And once again, thank you to the Anijie Global Foundation team for the invitation, and to Miss Madeline Awuku. Thank you very much for having me. I'm going to end here.
Right. Thank you so much, Miss Naomie Praise. We are so grateful for your time. We are just little 2 minutes, please.
Oh, her line is just gone off there. Her line is on. I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything. Okay, all right. Does anyone have any question whilst we wait for the moderator to return? Anyone has any question whilst we wait for the moderator to return? Oh, I didn't see what Clara Derry said. When she hears sharing is healing, she says she feels so relief and relaxed with more excitement. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Clara. And Jennifer also said we should also share with the right people. Exactly. Exactly. That's the most important. Knowing who to share it with is important. I don't know if the moderator is back, because I'm sure there is network issues. But does anyone have any question for me whilst we wait for the moderator to return? Does anybody know what's going on? Any update from anyone? Okay. I think the moderator's back.
Thank you so much, Ms. Naomie.
You're
I
welcome.
dropped my phone. Yes, we are so much grateful for your time. I was just trying to share some few takeaways, and I picked something that I have to say. If you are going through a mental health challenge, definitely to affect how you appear, especially your skin as well. So we shouldn't overlook that. And then we should also try.
Can you see my skin now? This is me without makeup, guys. And compared to the pictures that I shared with you guys, can you see my skin?
Yeah.
Peace.
And navigating mental health, you should believe in yourself because you are your number one fan, you are your number one priority, and you should believe in yourself as you navigate through mental health. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights, and thank to everyone who joined us tonight. Our next masterclass schedule is going to be on the 25th of June, and we hope to have everyone join us again. For those joining us for the first time or new to Anijie Glu1 Foundation, it's a youth-led non-profit organization empowering young women and youth through educational and leadership development programs. Our mission is to drive positive community impact and contribute to global progress. So being here today is not by mistake. We are grateful for having everyone here. Get connected to Miss Naomie through her media handles and then keep in touch with her updates and others. To stay updated on our upcoming event, please subscribe to Anijie Global YouTube channel and follow us on our media handles at Anijie Glu1 Foundation. And this brings us to the end of today's session. Ms. Naomie, thank you so much. And we are sending you much love from Ghana and all over the globe. Thank you, Ms. Madeleine, for bringing us this session. And anyone here, let's have a blessed day from my end. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.